Hey everyone, and welcome back to our channel, which is based on English learning. I'm Emily.
And I'm Jake. We're so glad you're tuning in today. Now, we all know that we have conversations every day, whether it's with a friend, a colleague, or even a stranger on the street. But have you ever stopped to think about the art of it? Today, we're diving into the simple yet complex world of everyday conversations.
That's right. You might think conversations are just, talking. But there's a lot more to it. It's how we connect, share experiences, and sometimes just pass the time. A lot of times we don't even realize how powerful a conversation can be.
Totally. We all have those moments where we're stuck in an awkward silence or just don't know what to say. It can be uncomfortable, right? But here's the thing. It's completely normal. The best conversations aren't always planned out or scripted. It's all about being present and connecting with the person in front of you.
Exactly. And let's be real. Sometimes small talk gets a bad rap. People think it's pointless. But small talk can actually be the doorway to more meaningful conversations. Think about it. When you first meet someone, you don't dive into their deepest secrets, right?
Haha, no, you don't start off with a 30-minute chat about your childhood trauma, laughs. But you do ask about the weather, or maybe their weekend plans. It's a way of testing the waters, it's the icebreaker, and often it leads to those deeper, more interesting chats. But it starts somewhere small.
Absolutely. And even if you don't dive into deep topics immediately, just having the conversation is important. Think about meeting a new neighbor. You might start with, "Hey, how long have you lived here?" Or, "What brought you to this area?" The conversation starts as this light exchange, but it's all part of building trust and rapport.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people are scared of that first step. You know? They feel like they need to have the perfect thing to say. But that pressure is unnecessary. One of the most important aspects of conversation is just showing up, being there, and being real. You don't need to impress anyone with fancy words or knowledge. Just being open and present is enough.
Exactly. And speaking of being open, I think another crucial part of conversations is being an active listener. How many times have we been in a conversation where someone is talking, but you can tell the other person is just waiting for their turn to speak? It's like they're not even listening. They're just thinking about what to say next. It can totally kill the vibe.
Oh, 100%. Active listening is such a game changer. It's about being genuinely curious and engaged in what the other person is saying. So instead of just nodding along and waiting for your moment to talk, you listen, ask follow-up questions, or even give small cues like, "Oh, tell me more about that," or "That sounds interesting."
Yes, and when you really listen, you create space for the other person to open up. I mean, when was the last time you felt really heard in a conversation? It feels amazing, right?
Totally. It makes people feel validated, like their thoughts and feelings matter. And I think that's why great conversations can feel so fulfilling. It's not just about exchanging words, it's about connecting, about understanding each other, even in the smallest ways.
And you know what? Sometimes, the best conversations don't even have to be verbal. I'm sure we've all had that moment with a friend where you're just sitting together in silence, maybe watching TV or reading, but you don't feel the need to fill the space with words. You're just there together.
Yes, it's the kind of comfort that doesn't require talking all the time. And I think that's an underrated aspect of human connection. We don't always need to have something profound to say. Sometimes being in the same room, sharing a moment, is more than enough.
Exactly. So, when you're having those everyday conversations, don't stress about being perfect. If the conversation stalls, just pick it back up with something light like, "So, have you watched any good movies lately?" It doesn't have to be deep, but it keeps the interaction flowing.
I've found that when you start to feel awkward in a conversation, it's usually because you're overthinking it. You're worried that you need to come up with something clever or profound, but most people are just looking for genuine interaction. So if you feel stuck, sometimes the best thing you can do is just be honest. You know what? I'm drawing a blank, but I'm enjoying this chat. It's refreshing and can take the pressure off.
I love that. And awkward moments aren't the end of the world. They're part of life. Like, once I was talking to a new coworker, and I said something that, in hindsight, was a little off. I thought they were asking me about my weekend plans, but they were talking about their vacation plans. It was a bit of a weird mix-up. But we both just laughed about it, and it actually made the conversation flow a lot more naturally.
That's a great example. And honestly, those moments where you laugh at yourself or stumble a little can make things more relatable. It reminds people that no one is perfect. We're all human, and sometimes we misstep, but it just adds to the charm.
Exactly. So, in summary, don't overthink it. Small talk can lead to great conversations, and being a good listener is so much more important than trying to come up with something perfect to say. Conversations are about connection, about being in the moment. And yeah, some awkward silences or silly mistakes are part of the process. Embrace them.
And always remember, conversations don't have to be about having something deep or extraordinary to share. Sometimes they're just about enjoying a little chat, making someone laugh, or sharing a quiet moment.
Well said. Thanks so much for joining us today. We hope you've learned something that'll make your next conversation a little more relaxed and a lot more meaningful. Remember, it's about being real and being present. The rest will follow.
And if you've enjoyed today's episode, don't forget to subscribe to Chatting It Out for more tips on communication, connection, and all things conversation. We'll be back with more next time.
Thanks again, and we'll see you soon. Take care, everyone.